Hi guys, Salvation Revelation here, Sharice here. Today I want to do a video that I've been looking to do for a while. It's about my third eye opening. I know I've covered some of the details on it on previous videos before. Before we get started, yes, subscribe to my channel. Post a link. I'd love to hear from you guys about anything that you may need, any information if you're struggling with this or having any problems. Please subscribe to my channel and I will help you as best as I can. By the way, another thing that has nothing to do with this, I am an unemployed nurse right now. I don't know how long this will last for, but I will be selling shirts, t-shirts, Christian t-shirts. If anybody's interested in buying one, they will be up for sale soon. That being said, I just want to get back to you about this whole thing. This is a video about my third eye opening. Again, I've made a few videos before on my channel that discuss some of the instances that I've had and issues I've had through my deliverance. I did a third eye opening, and years ago, I opened up my third eye, and I just want to go over the symptoms, what it was really like, and what led me there. Naturally, nobody wakes up one day and says, "Let me open up my third eye." And I didn't either. But I had been so heavily involved in New Age practices that it came up. I heard from other New Agers, other people who practiced. I heard it, on YouTube, all those meditation videos that I would listen to, and the music and the chakra music and the chakra healing, those were all things that I had been listening to. And believe it or not, when you're listening to some of these things, they become doorways also, this droning music of meditation. Anyway, I had stumbled upon this third eye opening and had heard about it from others, and so I read about it. I watched a couple of videos, and I came upon a video that said, "Warning, third eye opening. This one really works." And naturally, I went ahead and said, "Well, let me try this. If this is really going to help me with my enlightenment and raising my vibration and my activations and all this other stuff that these New Agers talk about, getting high, getting more enlightenment and connected with the light and God, or source, as they call him." They take God right out of that out of the equation. They remove that name of who he really is. I just wanted to connect with that. I just needed that in my life. I needed some spirituality. And after watching this, I felt that this could possibly be the way I could really connect with my guides and the divine. Anyhow, so I went ahead and did that. And by the time the video ended, by the time the meditation was open, I had successfully opened up my third eye. I was laying there with my feeling this whirling in my forehead. I couldn't control it. It was just this thing that I would close my, I was there in a trance-like state. I couldn't control it, but this third eye was already open, and whatever accessed it was already in control of it. And it was whirling and whirling and whirling. And as I said in my other video, I went from this whirling sensation to being in some kind of a flying kind of vehicle. I felt like I was in a roller coaster. I whipping through tunnels. And it's not like wormhole tunnels. These were like kaleidoscope tunnels with like speckles everywhere, and it was orange and colorful. And at first I was like, wow, this is wild. What is this? And soon after that, I became the orange colors with the totems. These totems, they look like those Mexican totems that you see in the Mayan symbols and all that. I started seeing those, and I'm whipping through tunnel after tunnel of these totems, and I'm flying through all these figures and faces and skull-like figures, all colorful and orange, and interestingly enough, I had gone to a kind of like temple, like a New Age temple called Cosm up here in upstate New York. And I believe they have one in New York City also. And the artwork in that temple that was created by the founder I was blown away. I looked at that and I said, that's exactly what I saw in my third eye when I opened my third eye. And I just couldn't believe it. Anyway, traveling through this tunnel, whipping through all these colors, when I was getting sick because I had no control over this and I couldn't stop it. When it finally stopped, as I said in my other video, there was this being sitting on a throne all the way at the end of this tunnel. And as I started to make eye contact with it, I noticed that it wasn't human. And, it was a little, non-human being sitting on this throne. And, all of a sudden it said in a thundering voice, F Jesus Christ. And I can't even say that. I never want to say that again. But, it was so loud and thundering that it shook me. And I just instantly sat up from that meditation and from that trance. I can tell you from that point forward, I was sick. I had severe headaches that I couldn't stop, that I couldn't get under control. I was nauseous. I couldn't walk. I was unable to stand properly. I had a hold onto things in the house as I was walking. I was losing connection with reality. I could not focus on anything, and I felt that I was losing the grasp of reality. I could not, time and space was something that weren't affecting me. I didn't know where I was. And this is from a meditation. I had lost time and space. It was the worst few hours that I had in my life. I was more concerned about me being considered crazy. I thought I was losing my mind. And I had worked in a psych facility and I was just petrified. I was like, I can't get this together. I can't walk through my house. I can't focus. I can't function. The day went on, I could not stop the swirling in my head. The creatures that I was seeing in my head were these ugly, deformed creatures, and they were constantly there. Every time I closed my eyes, there were these creatures there, and it was this whirling. I had ringing in my ear that I couldn't stop. The headaches were incredible, and I heard this low hum that was like all day long, and I couldn't shut it off. It was probably the worst thing I had ever done spiritually, and I didn't know what to do. So this went on for 2 days. I eventually looked up, YouTube. Here we go again. Let me get on YouTube, find and see what I can find to if there's any reversing this. And naturally, I did find something. YouTube. Everybody loves YouTube. There's something there for everyone. Anyway, so there was a meditation to close your third eye, and I watched it. And as soon as it finished, I sat right down and I got to it. I meditated. I tried closing my third eye, and it did help, but it didn't do the job. It wasn't something that was really successful. I had to stop meditation, any kind of meditation, any kind of mental work like that. I had to stop it altogether. I just pushed it all the way on, and in hindsight, I'm like, wow, it was just like that wasn't enough of a wake up call for me. But it took me months to get it together. And I still had this swirling, from time to time. I would go to sleep at night and I had this swirling. I would hear whooshing in my ears. I would hear ringing in my ears constantly. The headaches never really went away. And I would see these horrible figures when I was trying to pray. Interestingly enough, I was grasping at anything to close this third eye and try to get control of it. Crystals, meditation wasn't working. I finally started trying to remember prayers that I said, as a Catholic. Like I said, I was a Catholic, baptized Catholic, and I went to Catholic school as a child, and it didn't stick. And I really didn't have anybody supporting it because my parents didn't support the church at all. But I could not remember a Hail Mary. I couldn't remember a simple prayer. I couldn't begin to remember the first couple of words. And when I tried to say it, my mouth would not I wasn't able to form the words with my mouth. It was like something was keeping me from uttering prayer. It was keeping me from uttering anything that would help set me free. It was, anytime I had a thought of trying to grab onto something divine, of anything of God, it would confuse me, and it would make my mind like I couldn't keep my mind focused on anything. Um, this was really, it was really a profound thing, and it was the worst thing. I mean, I couldn't imagine people wanting to do this. But anyhow, moving forward from that, I realized that I had really opened up myself to the demonic realm. That was just one of so many doorways that I had opened as a new ager. I had practiced quantum healing therapy, past life regressions. I had done all of this stuff. And you know what? Now that just talking about it, you can ask these new agers now, Doreen Virtue. I saw a few of her videos. Stephen Ben Cars, he's also a new ager. They're all former new agers. This stuff is not good, people. It's demonic. Opening your third eye is demonic. I don't care. People may try to sell it as some new age, new kind of spirituality, but it is demonic. This is something old packaged in something new, trying to show you a new way to think and a new way to be. This is not of God. This is harmful. This will hurt you. And those who are still practicing it, they're entrenched in the demonic. And they don't realize it. So this is my testimony. I'm hoping that I reach people with this, so this way they'll understand that. I know so many new agers now in my life that I speak to, that we practice together or we exchange sessions, and they tell me the same thing. They was like, oh no, I stopped that. I'm saved now. And it's amazing to hear that. I had, incidentally, there was another nurse who I worked with, who also, was on a spiritual journey, grabbing onto Buddhism, Hinduism, any kind of new age spirituality. Not that that's new age, but a lot of those practices are, chakra healing, chakra aligning, Wicca, all this stuff. So she was embracing that. And, we had a discussion about third eye. It came up somehow. And she asked me about it, and I told her, I was like, I am really discouraging. I was like, I'm not for this, and you should definitely not do it. I discouraged her as much as I possibly could, and I warned her that this could really mess her up. And I told her my experience, but we're all curious, and we're all trying to find God, and we all think that we have, we have control. With this, you don't. She eventually, we had a conversation, and I asked her, I was like, hey, how's your weekend? And she was like, it was awful. She's like, I tried opening up my third eye. She's like, and I did. And, she ended up on the floor. She was telling me her testimony. She ended up in the floor in her house. Her fiance couldn't pick her up off the floor. She said she couldn't tell, she didn't know where she was, and the things that she was seeing, these grotesque things that she was seeing. The room never stopped spinning. She was suffering. She said she was so afraid that she would be checked into a mental institution. She was like, I thought I was going to really have to check myself in. She's like, I couldn't handle it. I just couldn't. It was bad. It was really bad. We never got into the discussion as to what she did to close it, if she ever successfully closed it. But that's one of the things that I was worried about. When I had my episode, I was walking through the house in a state that I couldn't get it together. I have my family, my children, and I'm seeing these things, and I can't focus. I can't think. I'm looking around the room, and I just could not get it together. The headaches were incredible. And, it's like, who are you going to fix this? Who's going to help you? And that was another thing. There's no one to help you. This isn't like you can make a doctor's appointment and show up and say, hey, could you help me? Well, what's wrong? I opened up my third eye and I'm all messed up. It's like there's no one who helps you. There is no one who can help you. This is a journey that you are so alone in, and there's no one who's going to help you. And all these new agers who make promises that, yeah, I'll cast it out. Guess what? They couldn't help me. And the ones that, and they charged, hundreds of dollars, close to like $300 a session just to see if they could pull this thing off, whatever you're experiencing. And some of them, when they hear about your experience and what you're going through, they don't even want you near them. No, we'll do it through Zoom. You're fine. Don't come to my house. They want payment. They can't help you. And if you ask questions, they want more money. So my advice to you, through my testimony and my experiences, please guys, go to God, find the Lord, find Jesus, get saved, read the Bible, learn from this book, because it is a living book. You want spirituality? You want supernatural? Jesus is supernatural. God is supernatural. He is the life, the truth, and the way. He is the only way, and he saved me. I was a walking train wreck when I was at the height of my demonization. I was stumbling. I couldn't talk. I couldn't walk. There was nothing wrong with me. I never had these problems before. But when I was demonized, I did. I couldn't get it together. If it wasn't for people who prayed over me, who were anointed with the Holy Spirit and cast this thing out, it was just like, all of a sudden I felt lift. I had relief. This thing wasn't hurting me anymore. And it was because the Holy Spirit came. Jesus came and cast this thing out. It was amazing. I was just like, well, if these are really demons, then he's real and he's got this. There's no one else who's going to save you and pull this stuff off. There's no one else who's going to do this for you. It's real. It's not a movie. The Exorcist, that's a movie. It is real. It is about real instances and people who've been demonized, and God, Jesus Christ, will save you. He will save you. And this is more for you New Agers. If you're lost, if you're starting your meditations, because I know a lot of times they would say, grab your crystals, grab this, light your incense, raise your vibration. If you're that lost that you're having headaches and you don't understand why, because somebody's telling you that you're getting ready for your next activation, New Age activation, listen to me. That's not an activation you want. You don't want to open up yourself anymore to the demonic. Those headaches are indicative of something else that's going on spiritually, and it's not good, and it's not from God. So, get saved. As I said, I think I've said what I had to. I hope I've driven this point home to many of you. This video is intended to do nothing more than share my testimony and hopefully save those who are lost, save those who are involved in New Age. And if you don't have God, and if you don't have any spirituality, and you're lost because you're thinking about getting involved in New Age and in Reiki and having energy or therapeutic services, think twice. Think twice, because all this stuff is demonic and it's occult practices. And that's it. If you want to hear anything else, on a happier note, if you want to hear anything else about any other videos or other videos, I am planning on making a series of different videos, because I have been involved in so much, in so many forms of occult practices and energy work and light work. I feel like it's really important that I share this with everybody. God has put it in my heart, to testify. And that was something that I think I missed my call when I had my initial deliverance. He wanted me to testify. And this is my testimony, and this is my testimony for everyone to hear. I will be making more videos and discussing everything that I've been involved in and what it led to and how I opened doors, involved in those occult practices. Okay. But anyway, thank you again. God bless you. May the Lord keep you. Take care, people, and I'll see you soon. Take care.